Hi guys, today we have a video to compare two knife companies. One is Reeves, one is Strider. Um, Strider actually has two owners, Mick Strider and Dwayne Dwyer, while Reeves is a one-man company, of course with all his staff. Um, these two are considered the high end of production knives, probably the highest end, and they don't come cheap. And I'll do a fair comparison to begin with. I mean, to compare the materials and the design, and later on I'll do my opinion on the knives. So let's start with the blade. Reeves, both blades are S30V, and Reeves blade are much sharper, and it's much more utilitarian than the Strider. But I have to say that Strider has a better look. If you put the Strider on top of the Reeves, let's say, okay, I think it's better this way. You can see that Reeve has a little bit larger blade, but it has a much more cutting edge if you go that way. You can see how much cutting edge Reeve has on their blade. Both are S30V. One is deployed by the thumb hole, one is deployed by the thumb stud. Thumb hole makes the blade weaker because you have to drill a hole in the blade, and although it's drilled in the thicker part of the blade, while thumb stud you don't have to drill any holes, so the blade has a more unified look. The thumb stud is on the Reeve, it's way back, so in a thrust cut action you can actually have all the blade in. Well, same with the Strider, but because of the jimpings and this choil, you can actually, well, it's hard for you to get the blade all the way back, so you'll probably stop here. That's a plus for the Reeve. The thumb stud are served as also the blade stop when it's open, but the Strider only rests on one of the thumb stud, which is the one on the titanium side, not on the G10 side, because I think Strider says that on a long run it will break the G10 if you flick it a lot, while Reeve has both thumb stud rested on the handle very nicely and perfectly. The blade design, Reeve puts a little more thought on it, so you can have your thumb here or your thumb here for a final work, and it has a sharpened, it's not really sharpened, but it's like half sharpened. It doesn't really cut unless you really push it for easier penetration. Of course, that weakens the tip of the blade. Okay, but I don't think you'll do a prime work with this knife. While the Strider has a thicker tip, it's actually not much thicker, as you can see. So both knives are not good for prying. But Strider does have a thicker blade. It's about a millimeter thicker than the Reeves, and it tries to retain the thickness all the way down. Okay, then we go to the handles. Both are the Chris Reeve and the Strider. They both use titanium, and Strider has a flamed titanium on this model, and the titanium is actually much thinner, as you can see, than the Reeves. And on top of that, the Strider has a G10 scale on the other side, and but Chris Reeve has another titanium slab on the other side. So in durability, I'll have to say that Reeve will last much longer than the Strider on the handle. I mean, you can throw this thing into the campfire and probably dig it out later. You cannot say the same with the G10. The pillar both are well, actually Chris Reeve is a flow-through design, which is a cleaner design, and cleaner meaning it's easier for you to clean up after all the mud and the hard work, while Strider is not. It's a backspacer design, although I don't think it's going to be hard to clean either. Chris Reeves comes with tools. At least when I bought it, it came with a tool that you can open the pivot. For the Sevenza, it's much easier. The tool is about $15, but the tool for the Strider is about the cheapest I can find is like $35, and the more expensive one are like $70 for a tool to unscrew it. I think that's ridiculous. And what else? Okay, Strider are put together with 1, 2, 3, 4, actually 3 screws and the pivot, while Reeves design is one big pivot, and one big standoffs. This is not a standoff, this is only a lanyard pin, and because of the thicker slabs of titanium, it is very strong. So you don't need another one here for the strength of the handle. Both are very strong because the Strider comes with the backspacer here. So in strength, I'll say both are really strong. Surface-wise, both are really good. It all depends on how you like it, titanium or G10. I personally like titanium. It comes with also a clip that I have removed it because this is a pretty thin blade, so I just drop it in my left pocket, as you can see there. So I use this as a backup. And what else? Okay, let's go into part 2.